Trouble in MAGA paradise, Trump's Christmas message, and a deadly plane crash in Kazakhstan. Coming up on Dangerous Waters. This is the Dangerous Waters podcast, where we dive deep into dangerous waters. I'm your host, Alex, and today's episode, we're going to do things a little bit different. It is the holiday season, so I'm wishing all of you a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy Hanukkah if you celebrate those. Happy New Year. But with that being said, let's get to our first topic of the day. We have trouble in MAGA paradise. Now, what's going on? There is a large-scale debate happening between factions of MAGA, which are, in some cases, at a level that could potentially split the movement apart. This is a very difficult topic, and the nature of this disagreement comes in immigration. On one hand, we have the group that says we need more skilled immigrants in our country. We need to open up immigration and make the system easier for people who are skilled to enter our country legally. On the other hand, we have the America First group, which says we do not need more immigrants in America. Enough is enough. Now, these two sides do agree fundamentally that illegal immigration is a major problem and that illegal immigrants should be deported from the country. However, there is that debate between whether we should invite more legal immigrants into the country, skilled immigrants, or if we should just kick them out and just retain whatever talent we have, only hire American. And this issue really started from Elon Musk with a Twitter thread in which he was debating about immigration. As an immigrant to America himself, as well as running multiple big tech companies, his position is that we need to incentivize these legal immigrants from other countries to come to America and help build our systems, our technology, all of that. Meanwhile, there's other groups of people. Oftentimes you see these white supremacists on Twitter who will say, oh no, well, the America First movement means only America. We should only hire American people and kick out the rest of the immigrants, or the immigrants should no longer be able to come into our country. No matter how smart they are, they should only stay in their own countries. So this is a very fascinating debate. If you look at what Trump himself has said throughout the campaign trail, he has only really made statements about illegal immigration being a problem. Throughout his campaign, he said many things about immigration, but this is one consistent thing, is that he's only been against illegal immigration, and he has advocated for more legal immigration to come into our country. He's advocated for talent, skilled labor to enter our country. So he and Elon Musk are really on the same page here, but there is a group of MAGA supporters who really believe that they're being disenfranchised and that the American First movement, or at least they hope secretly that Trump is taking their side, that there should no longer be immigration into our country. And this debate has been roaring across Twitter the past couple of hours. It will probably continue. These sentiments, these disagreements will continue into the next Trump administration. Now, what's my take? I think you got to first look at the positions of both sides. If you look at the anti-immigration crowd, their position is that we have enough skilled labor. We have enough people in our country, 330 or 340 million at this point, and it's enough to foster a level of progression, of economic prosperity. And if they don't have the specific skills right now, you can train them, you can educate them, and we should not be bringing in more immigrants. However, if you look at the other side is saying that these people, let's say from India or China, very smart people, they come into our country, and if you don't let them come into America, what they'll do is they'll stay in their home country, and when they're there, they will just develop the economy and build businesses in their home countries when that potential could have been in the United States. So this is a very contentious debate. My personal opinion leans more on the pro-immigration side. America, at least more recently in the cultural space at this point, has been very pro-immigration, and that pro-immigration stance has led to a lot of prosperity. Look at the internet era, look at all the big tech companies. We create some of the most powerful companies in the world. Many of them, CEOs are Asian, are Indian immigrants, non-Americans, but they come into our country and they build businesses here. And that is really a big key. America can no longer be competitive on the world stage if we're shutting ourselves off from this incredible talent from these other countries. These people want a life in America, and they have the skills to prove it. They have the skills to run businesses, to create highly technical works that are incredibly helpful for national security, for defense, for big tech, for the economy. And the way I see it, if you disincentivize these people from coming into our country, if anything, it is a national security concern for the United States. If these people are forced or incentivized to stay in their own countries, let's say India or China or Russia, for example, they will stay there and they will develop those economies to a level. If, let's say, for example, NVIDIA, if Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, decided to stay in Taiwan, or if he went to China, for example, that would be a completely terrible mistake. America would lose its highest market value company, and a lot of the technology, the progress that we've built, all of that happened in America because of immigration. And this is something that a lot of people just do not understand. They really just believe that, oh, Americans are capable of doing all of this stuff. Maybe, but do you have that kind of federal ability and that federal movement to educate these people? Do these people actually want to go through the rigor that a lot of immigrants from other countries who come into America have gone through to develop themselves in that way? And I don't believe it. I don't see the numbers there. But what I do see is a trend that American immigration has led to amazing prosperity. Obviously, we need to keep illegal immigration in check. We need to make sure that the systems are properly vetting the people coming in. We need to perhaps even require extra scrutiny of people coming in critical areas. Perhaps they could be sending information back to a home country, something like that. That needs to be properly checked out. But at the same time, without these people in our country, we would be in a very different and worse place. If you look at Elon Musk, for example, he is a shining example of proper, good immigration practice in which we bring someone who's extraordinarily talented, who has all of these capabilities. Whether you agree with him or not is a different story, but he is technically in a very different state of mind from most people. He came into America, he was able to develop SpaceX, he was able to develop Tesla, all of this great stuff. And just imagine if he was not able to come to America and he instead either stayed in South Africa or he went to India or China or Russia, one of America's enemies, and decided to build in those countries. Those countries would be at a far greater advantage in the space exploration scene, in the autonomous driving scene, in AI, than the United States. But Elon Musk being in America has allowed him to prosper, has allowed his ideas and businesses to prosper, and at the same time, it has allowed American interests to prosper in national security, in military, space exploration, all of these things. And that would not have happened had our immigration policy been completely restrictive. Coming in for our next topic, we have two Truth Social posts from Donald Trump. He posted this as a Merry Christmas message, a very similar tone to former messages that he has said during Christmas time, mostly acknowledging his enemies. For one, he says, "Merry Christmas to all, including the wonderful soldiers of China who are lovingly but illegally operating the Panama Canal." He also goes in to double down on the Governor Justin Trudeau rhetoric, saying that Canada would be in a much better position had they joined the United States, also saying to the people of Greenland that the United States will be there for them and that they will be in a much better place if they join America. At the same time, he also addresses the quote-unquote radical left lunatics, and he says that they have really been hammering down on their number one priority political opponent, which is Donald Trump himself, and then additionally says that they are really begging to get pardoned by Joe Biden, while at the same time saying that those 37 people who were commuted, at least from the death penalty, should deserve to go to hell. So this is quite a provocative statement coming from Trump, but at the same time, it's quite characteristic as to the type of rhetoric that he's been using during these Christmas posts, saying Merry Christmas, but at the same time using it to dig toward his enemies. But this post really goes to show that he is completely doubling down on his intentions here with Canada, Greenland, Panama. These are things that he's been talking about the past couple of days. Some people at first thought they were jokes, but people in the Trump campaign have then come out and clarified that Trump is 100% serious about these topics. And this post, once again, reinforces his state of mind. He is really completely committed to these issues, and he wants to see something happen with these countries. For our last topic of the day, we have a deadly plane crash in Kazakhstan. It was a civilian airline, Azerbaijan Airlines Flight J28243. It came from Azerbaijan and was supposed to land in Russia. However, it landed in Kazakhstan while under air defense fire, very difficult circumstances to land. The fuselage apparently was leaking, and the pilots somehow managed to get the plane onto a runway, but unfortunately it blew up on impact, killing 38 people in the process. This is a very sad development, but all signs for now are pointing toward air defense fire being the reason for the plane being taken down. Apparently what was going on was there was a Ukrainian drone attack that was happening at the same time the plane was flying through the airspace, and Russian air defense systems mistook the plane for something else, for a Ukrainian drone, and accidentally shot in its direction, taking it down. This is corroborated by multiple survivors of the plane. Luckily, there were many survivors all in the back of the plane. However, they said that there was an explosion at first, and then eventually the plane started having problems. The explosion came from outside the plane, and from the crash wreckage, you could see a lot of shrapnel on the back of the plane. So it does appear to be consistent with air defense fire that took the plane down. I'm just thankful that at least some people survived. It wasn't a complete failure. It wasn't a complete loss. The pilots really did a great job in trying to keep the plane in a consistent way, at least try to land it in as best of fashion they could. But this is really just a tragedy, and these types of mistakes happen all the time, not with civilian airliners, but what does happen is when Russia sends a barrage of missiles in Ukraine's direction, Ukrainian air defense tries to intercept the missiles or drones, whatever it may be, and then let's say the air defense missile misses or it comes back down on the ground, it lands on a building, then you have blame going around on both sides. You got the Russians saying, oh, look, Ukraine is using their air defense missiles and destroying their own infrastructure. They are terrorists. Ukraine will fire back and say, well, look, these air defense missiles would not have been launched had you not launched an attack where we were trying to take down your attack. And therefore, you just have this blame running back and forth between these air defense failures, between these attacks that are being launched toward one another with those countries. So this is really just a sad case of a civilian airliner being caught in the middle of this crossfire of air defense systems, of accidental attacks, and it's just really a difficult reality to digest. This is war. This is what happens during war. You have these mistakes, and we just can hope that the war will end at some point. With that being said, thank you all for sticking around to the end of today's Dangerous Waters episode. If you enjoyed, please make sure to share, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you all in the next one.